there's like different tiers of people in your life. There's like up at the top, your very bestest friends, the person that you can tell absolutely everything to. They're going to be there. They're going to understand. They're going to have your back. And you're just together on the same page. That's like number one, S tier human relationship, right? Then below that, you've got like your good friends, the ones that maybe you haven't gotten as close to as like your bestie, but you're still really close, good friends. Then you've got like acquaintances. But then there comes this like C tier entering into D tier friend where it's like, it's not bad enough that like you want to have a huge blow up confrontation, but you also don't want to talk to them anymore. And you don't know like how to really explain that or like how to not be friends with them as much without also hurting their feelings. And it gets even worse when they're the ones that are like persistently badgering you. Like they'll be like, hey, what you doing this weekend? Hey, what you doing this weekend? You're like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing this weekend, but I don't want to hang out with you. But it's not because you're terrible. I just don't enjoy it. I don't know what to do about that. But here's some that are absolutely the worst human beings to have relationships with. I stumbled across this text message conversation that absolutely has me speechless. My jaw is on the floor. I had to have Joy come in here and scoop it up and put my face back together because I just don't know how somebody can act like this, like how somebody can be this oblivious to things. I mean, I guess I get it from like a clinical perspective, but sometimes even I am still aghast at the ways that people behave and handle themselves. So let's take a look at this absolute fucking train wreck of a conversation here, and let's psychoanalyze it a little bit, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Before we jump in, please hit subscribe. We broke 5K. We're trying to hit 6K and get the watch time up to the 4,000 hours that YouTube wants me to get. So watch the video, subscribe, send it to your friends. If you like this content and you like hearing real reactions from a licensed mental health counselor, hit that button, share it with a friend. Let's get into it. The conversation starts out well enough. In fact, it's got a really great foundation that is starting on, asking for feedback, looking for positive connection. So the person using this phone from the screenshots that we're looking at says, hey, I'm sorry I didn't message you earlier today, but I wanted to say I enjoyed our, well, a little typo there, but our date yesterday. How did you feel about it? I love that, asking for feedback, looking for a connection. The other person says, person number two, we'll call them person number two, says, oh yeah, I was wondering why you didn't message sooner, but I agree. It was very enjoyable. Would you like to see each other between Christmas and New Year's? I can take you to the restaurant you were talking about. Very good stuff. They're referencing the conversation, meaning that they were paying attention. They're looking for an opportunity. They're being open. They're like, hey, I would love to see you again. I think it went really well. All fine and dandy right now. But wait, left turn into a brick wall, fast approaching. It goes on to say, person number one says, I can't. I'm going to be at my parents' between Christmas and New Year's. Pretty usual. A lot of people are out of town during that time. So they offer maybe sometime in January. I'm going to be a little busy though. Number two says, so you don't want to see each other anymore? And this is where we start to fall apart. There's a couple of things you want to look for in bad conversations with people. You want to look for, one, do they have the ability to see things from your perspective? A good friend, somebody that you want to have in your life, can see things from your perspective and take themselves out of the situation and see things objectively. If somebody can't do that, they're not going to be a great friend because they're not going to be empathetic. They're not going to be able to understand, and they're not going to give you good insight into what you should do. They're not going to help you process stuff. They're going to be impulsive and self-centered. This is looking like this kind of situation. So number one quickly corrects them and says, no. That's not what I said at all. Number two says, well, kind of seems that way. And this is classic. This is what you want to look for. Somebody who can't take themselves out of the situation and see things. They're making themselves into the victim. And this is where you get that victim mentality stuff. Like, oh, well, it seems like you're just being mean to me. You should have a conversation and not use emotional manipulation or guilt to get what you want. That is like a very childish way of interacting. Be like, okay, hey, do you not want to see each other anymore? I don't want to make assumptions. That's a great text message. And they say, no, I would love to see you in January. Okay, sounds great. Move on from there. But don't appeal to shame and guilt and, emotional manipulation to get what you want. That's not a great person to have in your life. Okay. So they go on to say, you expect me to believe that you aren't going out to party on New Year's? No, that's exactly what she means. No, not this year. Number 2 says, then why can't you see me in January? It seems like we have a failure of the education system here because clearly number 2 can't read. Number 1 says, I literally said I can. I just said I'll be a little busy, which is exactly what they said. That's normal. January is a busy time, start of new stuff. Things are going on. So it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Number 2 says, okay, well, you should make some time for yourself instead of work. If you spent time with me, you could relax. And see, we're starting to check off a lot of boxes here. Can't see things from another person's perspective, emotional manipulation and appeal to guilt and shame. And now we're becoming demanding, right? Now, being the victim didn't work. They put them in their place. So they're going to switch. And this is what you're seeing, like right in this message right here. They're going to switch from playing the victim because guilt didn't get the response they wanted. So now they're going to take the authoritative leadership role. And they're going to say, hey, I know what's best for you. This is what you should be doing. And so they're going to push now. And so you see that, right? There's this back and forth. Instead of having a real relationship, they're going to either play victim and use emotional manipulation or use bullying. They don't know how to have that in between because they can't get out of their own head. Now, here's the thing. Here's the mistake that I see a lot of my clients make. At this point, they start to take on the responsibility to correct number 2, right? I don't care what's going on in your life. If somebody is treating you this way, it is not your responsibility at all to teach them healthy social and relationship interactions. That's for them. That's their responsibility. If they want to have good friends, if they want to find love in their life, they're going to need to fix themselves, right? We all learn to do that. I mean, for God's sakes, we all learn to toilet train. So that way, when I'm sitting in a restaurant having a nice conversation with another human being, I'm not shitting myself, right? You know, you've got to have some basic level of emotional manners as well as physical manners. I learned to go potty in the potty. Well, learn not to shit in your text messages, okay? That's the basic that we're looking for. And it's not my responsibility to wipe your ass. It's not yours either if you end up in this kind of situation talking to someone like this. Let's see where it goes. Continues. Number 1 says, that's not really time to myself then, is it? 2 goes back to, so you don't want to see me. You see, we're bouncing back and forth. I'm either going to bully you or I'm going to shame you. Bully, shame, bully, shame. And eventually I'll keep ping-ponging back and forth between those till I get what I want because they don't have the ability to actually communicate well with the other person. So number 1 says, if you're going to be so confrontational about it, I don't want to really. Yeah, logical conclusion. I mean, I really wouldn't want to either, would you? But number 2 doubles down. They say, I literally paid for your dinner, and this is the thanks that I get. We're really going deep into the shame, victim blame type situation. Well, not victim blame, but I'm going to play the victim to try and get my outcome. You should be thankful I spent the time getting to know you and what you want. Now you want to ditch me? What the fuck? We're crumbling. We are the Hindenburg, burning ourselves on the way down here with this situation. That ship is crash landing, and there is no saving this one now. So my advice to you is don't save it, right? It's like either be like, yep, I'm done with this. I don't owe them a response. I'm leaving. But don't continue in this kind of situation. You need friends and relationships that are going to build you and that have something about this person that you admire and is going to cause you to be a better person. If there's nothing like that in the relationship, you don't owe anybody charity. You can't have charity relationships in your life. We need to become better. That's what it's all about. So number 1 says, I don't really know what to say to that. I mean, I'm speechless as well here. So number 2 says, we switch back. Now we're going to bully, right? Now I'm going to be the authority in your life. I'm guilting you, and now I'm going to take control. You could start by apologizing for wasting my time. Have fun whoring around on New Year's Eve. I guess I dodged a bullet here. Oh man. And here's something to think about. I don't know what this person's got going on in their life, but you will see this a lot in borderline personality disorders, untreated borderline personality disorders. Borderline's one of the few that has some really incredible ability to empathize. They can kind of literally intuitively know what another person is feeling and going through. However, when untreated and when unhealthy, just like anybody, right? when unhealthy, borderline has this push-pull relationship, right? I love you, I adore you, I want to do anything to make you happy, right? I will sacrifice my life to be around you, right? And I will make my identity into you, right? But then if you don't cave to me and let me make you my identity, then I hate you and I want to see you die, right? It's this very intense because in borderline personality, there's a difficulty with a sense of self-identity. And so there's both great idolization of this person and then degradation, and they bounce back and forth between those. I hope that's kind of making sense because that's hugely important to understand. Most therapists don't even understand this. Really defining borderline personality is this push and pull between idealization and degradation, right? When I'm idealizing you, I'm going to play the victim. Oh, please, won't you take poor pity on me? Let me make you my life. And then when you don't let them do that, because that is codependent and inappropriate, then, well, you're shit. I hate you. I hope you die. Oof. And we're seeing it unfold right about here. And so it continues. It says, so you aren't going to answer me? You're a waste of time. You know that? You better pay me back for the dinner because this is ridiculous. I took you out to a nice dinner that you said you enjoyed, and now you won't go on a second date with me. Effing slut. You literally have no life, and you say you are too busy to see me. You can see how it flips around. You're the most amazing, beautiful woman. I had such a great time, and now it's like, I hate you. I hope you die. Could have told me straight up that you are busy all the time before I went on a date with you. See? Now it's her fault. The degradation's setting in. Do you usually waste people's time and money whoring around for free food and attention? I can't believe I actually was considering settling down with a woman so old and so ugly. Girls over 21 are a waste of time. We are in full meltdown here, right? Full meltdown. We are losing it. Girls over 21, that's not... Damn, I must be old as hell. I'm 30, so I'm way out of this person's league. We continue. I don't need to settle for an ugly duckling like you. And honestly, this person's making a great choice. It's like, what are you going to say to that? Like, you know, there's a great saying, and I'm going to butcher it, right? But like, if you fight with a pig, you'll both get dirty, but the pig likes it. That's the situation going here. Best thing to do is just like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And so she or he does. Then stop texting me. Get a fucking life, dude. My like is better than yours, slut. Life? Oh, this number one corrects number two. I'm sorry. I should have been more understanding about your schedule. Sorry if you feel disrespected. And then the next day or sometime later, they say, you up? Wild, just absolutely wild. And so I want to bring this up both to bring light to it and to talk it through from a counselor's perspective. Like, I get these in my sessions. People will show me their phone and be like, look at this crazy shit that I'm dealing with. And I'll be like, whoa, okay, this is some of the things that I'm looking out for. This is the ways that I would kind of handle it. And really in this situation, you just have to leave it. This person's so emotionally intense that it doesn't matter what you say to them. They are going to turn it into something to fulfill their needs. So the best thing to do is just not give them anything. You have to remove yourself from that situation. A lot of people want it to end on nice terms, but that's the technique that they will use to manipulate you in these situations. It's like, because you desire closure, they will always have an in to having a conversation with you. So just don't get closure. My closure is, I'm done with you. Like, clearly you're not a healthy person to have in my life, so I'm not gonna. Let me know. You ever had a conversation like this? How would you have handled it? What do you think of my thoughts about it? I'll see you until then in the next video. Bye.